This is a short video class on the negative effects on children from ongoing conflict after a divorce or a family breakup. Parents often worry that their children will be messed up by a divorce. It's actually not the divorce that the researchers have found messes up kids. It's the ongoing conflict that never ends for the children involved in a family breakup or a divorce. This program will teach you some of the negative effects of the ongoing conflict, but we end with the good news of what you personally can do to reduce that impact and to save your children, move on, and have a terrific life, even if you're dealing with a difficult co-parent. I'm Dr. Deena Stacer, and I've been teaching parenting classes in San Diego since 1983. I've been teaching high-conflict co-parenting classes for San Diego parents for the family courts since 1997. And I was involved in a high-conflict custody breakup myself for approximately 7 years. I learned what to do, and I learned what not to do to end the conflict while protecting my children. I'm going to share with you the effect of conflict on your children in this short video and a few strategies to protect them. If you find your situation fits my discussion, you should register for one of my online co-parenting courses. When both parents are distracted because they are fighting, the ongoing conflict can create permanent problems for your children. Your children may never create solid emotional connections with either of you. They may experience distrust for all adults, even you, because they are not getting their needs met. They may become agitated, upset, and act out. Their behavior may keep the conflict between the two of you going because you are probably arguing that it's the other parent's fault that your child is misbehaving. Your children cannot stop their negative cycle behavior by themselves because they do not have the skills and because you need to role model it for them. They have not yet developed emotional control because you haven't taught them. Their emotions are usually ignored by their parents because the parents haven't reduced their own emotions due to the ongoing fight. Your children will become hypersensitive to your arguments, which means that their behavior may be causing even more arguments between the two of you. And your children may become hyper alert to any of the arguments between the two of you, no matter how small. All arguments feel dangerous to your children. Did you know that your children feel pain at 100%? Now, this is kind of an astounding concept. They experience all emotions at a more intense level than you as an adult do. You can put your emotions in a drawer. You can go to work and it's in the back of your mind on the back burner, but kids can't do that. They haven't learned to do that yet. So they may be so overwhelmed by the trauma of the conflict that they actually go numb or they act out, which is where we have serious problems with children, that if the conflict continues for a long, long time, years, months, whatever it is, then your kids have the risk of being permanently damaged. They may attempt to intervene in all of your arguments to reduce their own anxiety. They often feel useless because they can't stop the fight, inadequate, and depressed because they can't control their pain. And they may believe that their family life is chaotic, unpredictable, and very scary. So did you know that parents in conflict cannot calm down? So the children cannot calm down either. Your children will experience higher levels of anger, sadness, and worry because they lack your support to calm them down. So when you're wound up, you obviously can't calm anybody else down. So we got to get you calmed down first. They'll blame themselves for the ongoing conflict. Why? Because they believe that since their parents are fighting over them, it's their fault that they were even born and that their parents are fighting. And they're in a no-win situation. Pretty scary, isn't it? And in a situation, if you have a difficult co-parent, you might find that one of the parents cannot regulate their own emotions, they don't have insight about their own behavior, they actually thrive and enjoy the conflict, and they cannot get in their children's shoes and understand that their behavior is frightening them even more. Your children may be afraid that they will be sucked into their parents' conflict and they will be forced to take sides. That's pretty heavy duty right there, and it often happens. They often witness physical aggression with one or both of their parents, and this can create more behavioral, academic, and adjustment problems for your children. And we need to control contact and communication so that you can eliminate any more potential problems with physical aggression. Your children may experience severe emotional problems, which are 4 times more common in children of abused women than in homes that are not violent. If you didn't ever have physical aggression, but you had a lot of angry words and a lot of fear and a lot of other stuff that went on, then again, your kids are still going to experience tremendous fear. That children can recover from that information if we move them to a different place in their lives. And the only way that can happen is if you personally learn new skills and you move them to a place where it's not fear-driven anymore, where you're not always reacting, when you've moved on with your life and you have power in your life and you're no longer frightened by the other parent. You may find that your children may have difficulty concentrating in school and doing their homework. They may have difficulty concentrating on anything. Your children may seem very distant. They may not want to be with their friends, or they may want to be with their friends to avoid any more fighting. And this all depends on their personality and their age. When children are involved in chronic conflict with their parents, they will usually have tremendous difficulty developing positive, long-lasting social relationships with other children. And this then causes them trouble as they mature and try to establish adult relationships. What you'll find in a high conflict custody fight, if there's ongoing conflict and there's a personality issue with one of the parents, one of those parents may not be able to have good relationships with other people. And then you also have to teach your children how to get along with other people. When parents are in conflict, you'll often find that one of the parents may have a personality disorder, substance abuse issues, parental deficiencies, or character flaws that stop them from being with their children or being able to appropriately parent their children with parenting skills. Parents in conflict often become more sensitized over time to their children's failure in school, their misbehavior, and their cries for help and attention, that when kids are starting to have problems, you kind of give up. You're still fighting with the other parent, and then you want to blame the other parent for the kid's misbehavior, and then what happens is kids keep failing because they're not getting the attention they need in either home, and so the kids start going downhill, and parents don't know what to do, so they give up. They feel paralyzed. They feel powerless themselves. And parents in conflict often feel powerless, helpless, and inadequate themselves because they have been unable to end the conflict with the other parent. Parents in conflict try to make their children their confidants about the ongoing parental conflict. It's part of the nature of the conflict. Often, parents will place their children in this negative, uncomfortable position and may not even realize they're doing it or deliberately do it. Often, parents are more focused on whether their child is aligned with them and how to keep them aligned than helping them out with their schoolwork or reducing any discipline problems. Here's something you need to know, that parents in conflict have 2 major child-sharing fears. The first one is the fear that they will lose the love of their children because of the conflict, the other parent, or because of the divorce or breakup. The second one is the fear that the children will be messed up because of the breakup, the divorce, the conflict, or the other parent. If I could tell you that your children would turn out okay if you followed everything I told you to do, I could teach you the skills, you could implement the skills, your children would turn out okay, would you stop having conflict? And the answer is yes. No matter what the other parent did, if you knew that you knew that you knew that your children would turn out okay, you would stop being afraid. You would stop reacting to their craziness, and you would move on with life and make sure your children were okay. All of my courses are designed to help you make sure that your children turn out okay. Now, have I gotten your attention with all the bad news yet? Of course I have. Because you need to understand the impact of ongoing conflict, and most parents involved in conflict who want to end the conflict are looking for answers. They're looking for hope. They're looking for ways that they can save their children. So let me show you the basics on protecting your children from all the icky, ugly, awful, terrible stuff that could create lasting scars. And let's get started. Did you know that when children are attached to at least one of their parents during a high conflict custody divorce or breakup, the children end up becoming resilient? Isn't that good news? It only takes one parent for the children to turn out okay. Is that a relief or what? Research has proven that when one parent is attached closely to the children, even in conflict situations, the children turn out okay. Now, do you have to do some work? Yes. Should it be you? Of course. Let's define resilience. It's the ability to withstand or recover from difficult situations. When one of the parents in a high conflict situation has a personality disorder, parental deficiencies, character flaws, substance abuse issues, these problems will interfere with their ability to effectively parent. The parent without these issues must keep the children bonded closely to them to develop that resilience, and they must parent to the 100th power so their children are not damaged by the other parent. You must create a powerful bond with your children to buffer them from becoming emotionally damaged by a high conflict parent. As you learn to disengage from the other parent, you will calm down. And you will be giving your children the message that you are a nurturing and powerful parent, and they can trust you to protect them. Now, if the other parent is difficult, angry, or lacks compassion, you will also need to teach your children how to manage their time with that parent so they're not psychically wounded. You must also teach your children to have insight and develop emotional intelligence, because the high conflict parent often lacks these traits. One of the things that you need to learn is to stop responding to the other parent's emotional or psychological attempts to keep you engaged in the child custody battle. Trying to co-parent with the other parent actually requires that you reach an agreement with them on how you're going to parent the children in both of your homes together. And this requires that you talk to the other parent. Now, I have found that working with a difficult parent and trying to get them to agree with you is an impossible task. So I'm giving you permission to quit trying to fail so hard. That's good news, isn't it? When I teach you the strategies to disengage from the conflict and totally focus on raising your children, getting into their imagination, protecting them from harm, teaching them the skills so that they become normal functioning adults, you will win. Many parents believe that if they are not trying to work together, then they're not co-parenting, and the courts are going to be mad at them. And actually, this is not true. One of the definitions of co-parenting that I often teach parents is the absence of conflict is peace. Therefore, if there's peace, you must be co-parenting. If you're not in the court system, you must be co-parenting. So our goal is to get you to the point where you stop engaging with the other parent, stop trying to reach agreements with them, stop having conflict, and stop going to court. In terms of the courts being mad at you, if you're not in the court, how are they going to be mad at you? If you go back to court, one of the things you need to do is use the language of co-parenting, but you need to practice parallel parenting. If you could co-parent with the other parent, you would be doing it already, right? Your efforts to get the other parent to work with you are taking away your life energy. You only have so much energy in a day. You can use all of your energy to parent your children, to bond with them, to protect them from permanent damage, to teach them, to train them, to create joy, curiosity, wonder, and adventure. Or you can respond to the other parent and do nothing that's good for your children. You only have so much energy in a day. How much energy are you giving to the other parent, which is taking away from the energy for the children? Every time you see the other parent or hear their voice, visual, verbal, whether in person, through text messages, emails, telephone contact, or through another person, an attorney, a family member, even the children, it will take you a minimum of 3 days to calm down from every single one of these interactions. When you're distracted by the other parent, then it's lights on, no one is home for the children. If you're having daily interactions, you see them at exchanges, you see them at the drop-off at the school, you see them when a parent comes to the home to pick up the little ones, they deliver them back in the evening. You're having ongoing interaction through email and text messaging. If you're having a co-parenting counseling sessions, if you're doing parenting classes and you're supposed to both go together, every one of those interactions spins you out for 3 days. If you're having daily interaction, you're spun out 21 times in a week. Now, how good are you for your children? You're not. So we want you to figure out a way to exchange the children without seeing the other parent. Exchanges can be done at school or daycare to reduce that face-to-face exchange time. Stop responding to texts and emails that you don't need to respond to. Every time you hear their voice or see their face, you react. It spins you up. When you're spun up, you're not with your children. So we want to get you to the place where you're totally using your energy for the children and eliminate all telephone contact and exchanges so you can start to calm down. To create a very close connection with your children, you will need to learn how to string pearls with your children. You do this by planning a series of activities and events with your children that they enjoy doing with you. For example, with your children, you're going to plan meals that require that you discuss what you're going to cook. Then, together, you look up recipes, you make an ingredients list, you buy the food at the store, you prepare the meal, you cook it, and then you share your meal together. All of these activities should be divided up in separate activities that you string together over time. Plan the meal on one day. Get the ingredients on another day. Make the food and enjoy the meal on another day. This creates magic with your children. Together, you can plan meals, picnics, and parties. You can plan a bicycle ride, or you can set up a plan to create decorations for a special holiday or a family event. You can work together to redecorate your child's bedroom or begin a collection of seashells from the beach, a lake, or the ocean, and on and on and on. Now, you want to plan a variety of different activities that will occur over longer periods of time, such as a weekend, over several weeks, or even months. This creates ongoing positive anticipation with the children, and they feel close to you immediately. They feel close to you during the entire length of the planning and the implementation stages too. Now, you always want to have a string of pearls going. And you want to have different activities that string these events together so that the children always have something to look forward to. When you continuously are engaged in planning activities with your children, that can be anywhere from cleaning the house to planning a vacation, anything on a limited budget or even a larger budget, your children will become closer to you. And as you string pearls with your children, you'll find it's easier to disengage from the other parent, whether you're the one that wants the conflict to go on or they're the one that's trying to keep the conflict going on. You will start feeling better as you draw closer to your children. And your children will start feeling better and closer to you as they win in a relationship with you. To learn more techniques, concepts, and skills that will completely end your conflict with the other parent and help you get closer to your children, take one of my online co-parenting courses at www.parentswithansinconflict.com/courses. I offer courses ranging from 2 hours all the way up to 100 hours to teach you powerful skills. The more conflict that you have, the more course hours I think you should take. Additional free information can be found on my co-parenting blog at www.parentsinconflict.info and on the Parents in Conflict YouTube channel. You will receive a certificate of completion after you have finished any of my online co-parenting courses. These courses have been approved by many of the family courts throughout the United States and in Hong Kong. I will be happy to speak to any court professionals related to your court case to assist you with course approval before you take any of my courses. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at 800-980-0434 or email me at doc@deenastacer.com. You can Facebook me at facebook.com/Deena Stacer. Or you can also leave me a message at parentsinconflict.com on the contacts page. I look forward to helping you reduce your conflict and protect your children and getting on with your life. And thanks for watching this video.